What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. May look like a different setup, because it is. I moved some things. Got kind of tired with how it was and figured I'd mix it up a little bit. Put the desk back to use. So I've spent a little bit of time with this fragrance. It's the newest release from Hermes. This is H24. I want to talk to you about it today. So stay tuned. So, starting off with a quick look at the presentation. Quick look at the box. Has a matte gray kind of textured finish. Almost like a, kind of has resemblance of a stucco wall, if you know what I'm talking about. Name of the fragrance. Concentration. Size is a 50 ml. Nothing on the sides. This is a refillable bottle. You can buy refills for it. Has the Hermes logo up top. A little bit of fragrance information. Then I do think the bottle does kind of look cool, to be honest with you. The contouring, you do have Hermes in the glass on the bottom. Some fragrance information going around the concave portion of the glass. H24 printed up top, nothing on the back. Hermes logo on the top. Does hold into place. And it does have a pretty good atomizer, to be honest with you. Let's talk about the scent. So, I'll have the notes on screen for you. It's a strange note breakdown. So it's clary sage, metallic notes, narcissus, which is an interesting note, and palisander rosewood. So in the top, I don't know if it's just the metallic notes mixing with the green herbaceousness of this clary sage, but I get this bitter bergamot citrus smell. And everybody I've been around that has smelled it has told me they get this citrusy type of smell as well. I really attribute it to, the only thing I can anyways, is the metallic notes mixing with the clary sage, because it just has this juicy bitter citrus kind of smell that kind of resembles this this rind of the bergamot, like the actual citrus peel. It's very, very strange, very lovely, very, very beautiful fragrance. I mean, I thoroughly enjoy. I think it's a great release. And you do get a heavy dose of these metallic notes, and then as it starts to settle. So what I've learned about this narcissus note is it's kind of it's like an animalic petal of the flower is kind of the basis of what the scent profile is for it. It can come off a little bit tobacco-y or smell kind of like hay. I definitely don't get any tobacco smell. Very green. I'm thinking that's mostly because of the clary sage, but it does give off a little bit of a hay smell. So that makes sense once I read into the note, because it does give me a little bit of that hay smell that I get from Chergui, from Sirs Lutin. Obviously not the same scent whatsoever, but that dry, grassy hay kind of smell, you know? It's actually quite lovely. It's a little strange at first. I can see this one being quite polarizing for a lot of people because it's different. You know, I'm very proud with what they did here. I think it's a fantastic release because it doesn't smell like anything else I have. On my skin, it actually gets a bit floral and a little powdery, almost like a powdery lavender, if you will. So I'm kind of surprised that there's not any lavender with it. I do get a little bit of a woody nuance, but it doesn't really jump out at me as rosewood. In the most basic way to explain what I get from this is I get this citrus, this authentic bitter citrus smell up top, very metallic and green, dry, grassy kind of smell with a little bit of a woody nuance in the dry down. It's not overly complex. It doesn't change a whole lot. It's pretty linear for the most part. But man, it's an addicting smell, as you can see while and I'm not a fan of sniffing the paper, but it doesn't change too much from what I get on test strip to what I get on skin. And actually, this is one of the few fragrances I've smelled this year that I actually really enjoy on the paper. That's actually why, you know me, I normally just spray it on my arm, but it doesn't fall flat on the test strip. This is one of those few fragrances that does that for me. Let's get into performance. So if you're looking for a beast, don't look this way. But it is not a weak performer either. I've been getting in the 6 to 7 hour range, which is average to above, slightly above average which starts to fall into that sweet spot for me, especially for a fresher fragrance. Now, I wouldn't call this just a citrus, aromatic, super mega fresh, aquatic type of fragrance, because it's not that. That's not what this scent profile is. But I think the green aspects of this and the slight floral nature that I get on my skin really help it just kind of stay for a lot longer than I think some others may be getting. I'm not sure what kind of performance others get, but like I said, for me, the few times I've worn it now, I've been getting in the 6 to 7 hour range. So for longevity, I think that's perfectly fine. I think it's very good longevity, especially for being such a fresh scent profile. Now, projection is what surprised me with this one. It's actually very pronounced. And it's not just in the first hour to hour and a half. I find for a solid 2 to 2.5 hours, roughly 2 to 3 hours, we'll call it, it's actually pretty easy to smell me. The way it performs on my skin, it's one of those scents that stays with me and leaves a pretty sizable scent bubble around me. I find myself getting wafts of it all the way until like the 5 to 6 hour mark before it really starts to get weak. I was very surprised by this. I'm not going to sit here and say it's sneaky strong like I do with certain fragrances, but I was surprised by the ability to push off of my skin, the volatility, the volatile nature of this compound and the way it reacts with my skin chemistry. It's, like I said, not a room filler by all means. I'm not saying it's a beast in any way, shape, or form. It's above average in longevity, and I would say it's above average in projection. It's hard to really put a timeline on it to when it really, the heavy side of the projection settled down, because it just seemed like it wanted to keep going. I would say the safe range is 2 to 3 hours based on my wearings with it, but I really feel like it was a bit stronger than that for a bit longer than that, even into the 4 and 5 hour mark. I'm very impressed with the performance on this one, because it projects for just about its entire scent life before it becomes a faint skin scent on my skin. I was very impressed by that. So overall marks, slightly above average in longevity and above average projection as well. Final thoughts on this one is a must try. So the reason I say that, the first time I smelled this was in a blind smell and rate video in Chicago with Justin and Andrea. Justin had brought it. I instantly fell for this one, and then I was in Ulta not long ago, and it had slipped my mind. Hadn't really been thinking of it, and I was testing out. I was there to test out ROYALE Parfum, tested out Invictus Victory, saw this, sprayed it again on the test strip. It sold me immediately. They had this 150 ml bottle. I had no hesitation, no issues whatsoever paying full retail for this, because I think this scent is worthy of the 90 some odd dollars after taxes that I paid for it. I did buy this at full retail from Sephora, sorry, not Ulta. And like I said, if I like a scent enough, I don't have to wait on it. I can buy it on release, I can pay full retail. That doesn't bother me. Yes, I typically like to bargain shop for my fragrances most of the time, but when I deem something just smelling that good to me, regardless of performance, I'll pull the trigger without hesitation, and that was the case here. This is why I'm not going to sit here and say it's a must-buy, because I could see this being a polarizing scent profile. I can see some people being put off by it because it's not a run-of-the-mill fresh fragrance. It is a little bit different. That's why I said early on in this video that I was proud of what they did here, what Hermes did, because it's different, and I think it's really, really good different. So, like I said, must try. Well, that is my final thoughts on H24, the newest release from Hermes. And until next time, do me a real quick favor, go ahead and like, comment, subscribe. So I do appreciate all the feedback, and I love hearing from you guys. How many of you already have a bottle, have a decant, you've tried it, whatever? I want to know your thoughts. Let me know down in the comments what your thoughts and feelings are on H24. If you haven't tried it yet, did this video kind of help you along on, man, I need to go out and get my nose on it? I hope so, because I think this is a very well-rounded fresh fragrance that I think is being successful for them based on what I've been seeing with the masses. I believe it's a hit. Now in the community, I've heard some good things about it, but I haven't seen too much talk about H24 aside when it first came out. There was hype because it was a new original scent and not just another Terre de Hermes flanker. So I hope this works out for Hermes so they can flanker it, maybe make an intense, an eau de parfum version. You know how that goes. As long as they stay, because they're good about staying true to their original DNA. Their flankers stay pretty, you know, they just kind of twist the original DNA. So I would love to see flankers, intense flankers, and a darker flanker, and so on, happen with this line. So I hope that's what we see in the future with the H24 line, personally. And until next time, I will say, if you get your hands on Hermes H24, you give it a spray now, might end up thanking me later. Have a good one, guys.